Hi, I should be watching myself so that I'll know when we're on. I went down a rabbit hole, by the way. My name's Bill. Thanks for tuning in, watching. I appreciate it. I went down a rabbit hole with Claude. Claude is one of the very popular AI uh, tools, apps out there, websites, whatever. It's AI. You can have so much fun with it. I do a lot of work and a lot of research on it, but I went pardon, I went down a rabbit hole with it, searching for niche in my area that I'm working at here on YouTube, and that is helping people in their semi-retired or retired state, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, doesn't matter about your age really, but in that area, what are some things that they could do? What are some niches? And I came up with, between Claude and I actually broke Claude. You're only allowed to go so long before you kind of run out of credits, and I ran out of credits. I've never done that before, but like I said, it was a really deep rabbit hole. And then I had to create documents, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to share those documents and talk about 230 niches that a semi-retired person or a retired person can dig into and create a YouTube channel on. Every one of these very valid things. Some of them I completely don't understand. So I've got 3 documents I'm going to share. The first one is female leaning niches, and then the next one is male leaning niches. Now that doesn't mean that if you're a guy and I go through the female ones and you say, well, I can do that, I know a lot about that, that's great. It just kind of leans to the female side versus leaning to the male side. And then the second one is leaning to the male instead of leaning to the female. I'll kind of hit on those as I go through. And then the third one is kind of gender neutral and faith-based, that you could start a YouTube channel on. Now, my throat is already giving me fits. If you've watched me do lives before, you know that I have a throat condition and it's not giving me a great day. Let's just say it's not giving me the greatest of days. So let's just get into it, because there's 230 of them, and you're thinking, how's he going to go through 230 of them? We're going to be here till 7 o'clock tonight. No, we're not. They'll go through quicker than you think. And we're going to look at them in this way. So these are female leaning YouTube niches, 7 categories, 10 sub niches within those 7 categories. And then it gives a breakdown. So just to break the ice right off the front end, this is one of the 10 niches. There's 7, or one of the 7 niches, and there's 10 different ways to break down quilting and fiber arts. Now, you're thinking, why don't you just do one on quilting? Well, if you niche down, you're going to get more responsive people tuning into your channel. So, and I'm thinking, how can you do that? Now, in each one of these, there's content angle, the audience, monetization, competition level, and the gear that you need to do it. For every one of these. No, I'm not going to go through all of these for everything, but I wanted you to know that for each of them, it gives you the angle, the audience that you're looking for, monetization, how to monetize your YouTube channel, apart from just getting the 1,000 subs and the 4,000 watch hours, competition level, and the gear needed. So I'll hit on a few of those. If somebody interrupts me, I'll go into depth. But quilting and fiber arts. So you've got beginner quilting, modern quilting. I don't know the difference. I don't know the difference. I'm sorry. Yeah. Hand embroidery. Now, my mother, I don't think she did a lot of quilting, but my mother, hand embroidery, she did that. She knit. I've got sweaters that I'll never wear again because they're just not in style and they're just too bulky. But my mother knit them and they're intricate, and people are getting back into it. Crocheting. I know a man in his 30s who crochets, does it very well. So it's not necessarily, it's female leaning, but not necessarily female. Fiber arts for beginners, 50 plus. I don't know what fiber arts is, but apparently Claude did. quilting as storytelling, because you can make quilts that apparently tell a story. You do a whole YouTube channel on this. People will watch it. Stash busting and scrap quilting. Again, don't know what stash busting is. Maybe that's finding old pieces of material. Hand quilting versus machine quilting, fiber dyeing, and surface design. All of those under the quilting area. Now, here's another one. Home decorating and do-it-yourself decor. Thrift store and yard sale flips. When you think about, if you want to think about just material alone, Joann Fabrics has gone under. And so I have a friend, a very good friend of my wife's, and my wife and her, they both sew. And she has a whole room full of just fabrics. Not my wife. My wife's friend has a whole room full of just fabric. She just has fabric everywhere. So Joann's closed down, but she has not. She bulked up, but she sews upon sews upon sews. Anyway, thrift store and yard sale flips, seasonal and holiday decorating. My wife could do some of that. Room makeovers on a budget. That's something that might be hot. Furniture painting and refinishing. Again, this is in the female area, but it could be male leaning. My wife does some furniture refinishing herself. Do-it-yourself wreaths and door decor. My wife could do that because she changes one out for Bronco season, then Christmas, then on into January. I mean, she's got wreaths. She's got a room. Well, she's got a closet where she hangs up her wreaths, so they're just ready to go. Yeah. Cottage, farmhouse style decorating. So a certain style of decorating. Small space decorating. What to do with this 10 by 8 room. Decorating with what you have. And these are all specific channels, not just part of a channel, but an actual YouTube channel that a person could start a YouTube channel on in their retirement years or semi-retired years. No sew home decor projects. You don't know how to sew, but you can do that. Gallery wall planning and hanging. You don't think, some people don't think about these things, but then there's others that search for it. And that's the key. A cooking and baking tradition. So there's heritage and family recipes, from scratch baking, there's Southern or regional American cooking, holiday baking traditions, cooking for two, how to make stuff that's just for 2 people. What my wife and I do, we make it for 6 people, then we have 3 meals each. That's what we do. Slow cooking and comfort food, or comfort cooking, cooking without recipes. What do you got in the cupboard? Let's just throw it in and see what happens. Church potluck and community cooking. Pie and pastry from scratch. My mother, she could bake a pie. I grew up on homemade baked pies. It's a wonder I'm not 400 pounds. It's a miracle I didn't grow up super fat, because she could bake a pie. And let me tell you, back then, sugar was a staple. Let's just be honest with that. Sugar was, bread baking for beginners. My mother did a lot of that stuff. My mother could bake so much. 4th category, senior wellness and healthy aging. Okay. Gentle fitness for women over 50. Nutrition and eating well in retirement. Sleep and energy for midlife. Strength training for older women. Mental wellness and aging. Menopause. I cannot relate, but I live with my wife, and she's been through it. She keeps saying she's going through it, but I don't understand. I think she's using it as that's a bad rabbit hole. I'm going to stop there. Chronic condition management. If you have a chronic condition, you could talk about how you manage it and help others manage it as well. Walking for health. You could take your camera and walk and talk about the health of walking. You could do that on a weekly basis or 2-3 times a week and talk about the different aspects and how it is and how you're doing and how others could do it. Or you could just do it. You could combine that with something else, saying I'm walking for my health, and let's talk about this. You can actually add a second niche in there. You could do that. Walking for health, stretching and flexibility routines. I got a lot of stuff popping up on Facebook feeds and YouTube feeds for stuff like that. Grandparenting and family. Tomorrow is the first birthday of my only grandchild. Tomorrow. She turns 1. So excited. So long distance grandparenting. For me, long distance means 14 miles, which means I see them several times a week. Activities and crafts with grandkids. Cooking with grandkids. See how some of these cross over? And you can niche down. Grandparenting teenagers. If you can ever catch them at home or off their phone. Another story. Reading and storytelling with grandchildren. Being the grandparent you wish you had. Might bring up some old feelings. Navigating blended families as a grandparent. Gift giving for grandkids at every age. New grandparent adjustment. And grandparenting from a faith perspective. Another category, flower gardening and garden aesthetics. I have a black thumb. Plants see me, they just give up and die. All but the dandelions, they seem to laugh at me. So anyway, perennial garden design, cutting garden. I guess that's, cutting flowers for the house, I guess. Rose gardening, specific to roses. Bulb gardening, specific to bulbs. Native plants and pollinator gardens. Small space flower gardening. Flower arranging, garden journaling, and seasonal documentation. Now, you can make some products to sell to people on how to do that, and, some templates and stuff to help them. Garden design for beginners, overwintering, and garden prep. Let's go on. Journaling, memoir, and storytelling. Again, something that men can do as well as women, but we're still in the women area. Beginner journaling, gratitude and reflective journaling, art journaling, bullet journaling for older adults, writing your memoir, preserving family stories, letters to grandchildren, journaling through hard seasons, finding your writing voice, self-publishing your family history. All of these things, very practical. There's 70 things right there. And that's just female leaning. We're going to go on and I'm going to find there it is, the male leaning. Again, these are 7 categories, 10 sub-niches, and I'm going to do something. I'm going to get a throat lozenge. It will help because the more I talk, the more my throat is going to get raw, and it's raw. So pardon me. I'll get it off to the side so I can talk. Hopefully it'll help. Male leaning YouTube niches. They lean toward men, but women can do these if that's their passion. Woodworking. Beginners woodworking, furniture building, small woodworking projects, stuff my wife has done. Wood turning, its own passionate sub-community of lathe. Scroll saw and fretwork. Hand tool only woodworking. No power required. I've seen some of those. There are some of those channels are amazing. I can't do them, but they are amazing. Here's one, workshop and shop setups. You could not just do your workshop. You could visit other people's workshops and do videos on their workshops and why they set it up that way. And maybe you could do it on saying, well, I don't have a workshop, but I have the back of my garage. Well, how did you set up the back of your garage for a wood shop? You could do that, and that would be a channel. Wood finishing and staining. Every project you do, you got a camera on it, and you explain how to do it. People would be very thankful that you've done that. Woodworking for beginners over 50. Reclaiming and salvage wood, reclaimed wood and salvaged wood. Barn boards, pallets, demolition lumber, fallen trees. I think there's a channel out there where all the person does is he builds stuff out of pallets. Takes the pallets apart or puts the pallets together, and he makes stuff out of pallets. A whole YouTube channel. Another category, fishing. And this is kind of specific. Bass fishing, catfishing, trout fishing, crappie and panfish, ice fishing, which you're thinking, well, I got to be in northern Canada to do that. Yeah, maybe in Alaska. Bank fishing without a boat, basically only from the bank. Fishing for beginners, how do you tie that knot in that hook with that little bit of filament line? Local lake and river fishing, catch and cook. We went camping. Well, we used to go camping every year up to this lake way up in the mountains. I'm close to the Rockies, so we went up in the Rockies. And we decided one year that we didn't take our main meals with us. We just planned that if we caught fish, we'd make a fish gumbo. And if we didn't get fish, we would be hungry. Fortunately, we had a very good year that time going up, and we caught a lot of fish, and we had fish gumbo. But catch and cook fish. Budget fishing gear reviews. Instead of buying that $300 reel, buy that $20 reel, and here's what you could do with it. I couldn't tell the difference between A or B. Third category, car and truck restoration. This is a big deal. We have a friend here in town who has restored Mopar vehicles. And not just piddled with them, really restored them. Kind of pretty. Classic America muscle cars, old trucks and pickups. Barn find restoration. Look what I found in the barn. Rat rods and custom builds. Anyway. Forgotten classics. Body and paint work. Engine rebuilding. Interior restoration. Budget restoration. I'll bet a lot of people would watch that. I can't afford to buy that, but I wonder how you could do it on a budget. If you're good at that, that could be your YouTube channel. Pre-1970 vehicle restoration. You really have to be in the niche, if this is your thing, to be able to do these. But you're not looking to do 230 different niches. You're looking for that one that's you. What about hunting? White-tailed deer hunting, turkey hunting, waterfowl and duck hunting, elk and western big game, small game and rabbit hunting. I do rabbit hunting in my backyard. I live in the middle of a city, but there's still rabbits in my backyard. Hunting land management, archery and bow hunting, field dressing and processing. How do you do that? Public land hunting and hunting for beginners. Which end of the gun goes down range? That would be a really good start. Another category, small engine repair, lawnmower repair, chainsaw repair, generator maintenance, snowblower repair, pressure washer repair, carburetor cleaning and rebuild, pull cord and recoil starter kits. Feel free to update this as much as you want. You could, jump into what do I do with my electric car, where I wouldn't have to take it in, but I could fix it. I don't know what it costs to get repair work or maintenance work done on an electric car, but I'm guessing it's going to be more than a conventional car. I don't know. Fuel system and ethanol damage. Make a channel on that. Blade sharpening and spindle repair. And brand-specific repair series. A lot of these would be good to do live streams. Like I'm doing a live stream now. You could do a live stream and start to walk people through it and answer their questions while you do it. And do something like a live stream every week that becomes a video on your channel, just like this does. Amateur radio, getting licensed. I don't know if that'd be an entire channel. Under monetization, it says you can create study guides or be affiliates for them, starter kits, so on and so on. HF operating and DXing. I do not know what that means, so we're going to skip through this. Portable and soda operating, contest operating, emergency communications, antenna building and design. There's something. SDR and digital models. QRP. A lot of these things I'm saying are completely over my head because I'm not a ham radio operator, but if this is a hobby, you know what I'm talking about, and you can make a YouTube channel on it, even combining 2 or 3 of these things. And number 7, overland and truck camping. So truck bed camping and RTT camping. Rooftop tents, RTT. There you go. How do you make your truck bed and make it into a place where you can sleep overnight? I actually have a friend who was just over in Nebraska, and he spent the night sleeping in the back of his truck. His son slept in a tent, and their friend slept in another tent, but he slept in the back of his truck. And yeah, a whole truck bed camping and RTT system. A Jeep and 4x4 overlanding. I have a 2004 Jeep Rubicon in my garage. That's what I drive, and I've done some trails up in the mountains. I've taken a GoPro and mounted it, a high mount, on my Jeep, and had it running through the trails that we were on, which made some really cool footage. Overland trailer builds and towing, how to build stuff like that. Van and truck camper conversions. SUV overlanding. Recovery and off-road skills. Teaching how to help other people. I've got some stories about that. Luckily, I was on the recovering end and not on the getting recovered end. Overland camp cooking. Navigation and route planning. Budget, overlanding on a budget, and overlanding for guys over 50. So there's another 70. No. Anyway, there's a whole bunch more. I got one more. These are kind of neutral. And as I mentioned, women can do anything that the men can do, and men can do anything that the women can do, if that's your skill set. So I'm going to hit last two. These are kind of gender neutral. And then I got a faith-based one as well. So first one is RV and retirement travel. Full-time RVing. It's a big deal for a lot of people. Part-time and snowbird RVing. Those northern people heading down south for the winter, then heading up back home for the summer, just staying away from the snow, basically. So you're part-timer. And what does it mean to be in that area? You could do slow travel by RV. In other words, you go to one place and you stay there for 3 weeks or even a month, and then you move on. It's setting up your camp for a week. Setting up where you're going to have your RV for a week is different than setting it up for a month. I know that. So slow travel by RV. National and state park travel. A lot of state parks, in your retirement, you could go around all those parks, but you may as well film it and make a channel out of it. International retirement travel. RV maintenance for beginners. I'd watch that. If I had an RV, I'd be watching all of those videos. RV budgeting and the real cost of travel. If you did a channel that was specific to this is how much it costs to do this, and oh my goodness, this thing happened, and all of a sudden we had to go to a place to buy parts. I mean, what do you need to plan as a contingency to get stuff like that? What breaks first? What broke first for you? I'm sure people have a lot of stories. Solo travel in retirement. Maybe you're all alone and this is now your thing. Class B and van conversion travel. And then getting towed and towing. Here's another category: retirement finances and planning, Social Security strategy, Medicare basics, retirement income planning, Roth conversion strategies, downsizing, and housing in retirement, retirement on a modest income, late start retirement planning for people that didn't plan until they were 60. And are still thinking about planning. Maybe you have a clue about that. Women and retirement finances, retirement planning mistakes. You can go through all the mistakes. You could actually find people that made mistakes and you could get their input. Your channel could literally be about real life examples of people that made mistakes in retirement planning. Then there's genealogy and family history, another category. DNA genealogy, census and vital. We're going to kind of get along on this. Military record research, immigration naturalization record research, newspaper archive research, geology. Rock on, dude. Genealogy for beginners, breaking through brick walls, documenting and sharing your findings, African American genealogy, interviewing live relatives, not just your relatives, but others. Local and regional history. You could do your town's founding and early history. vanishing places and businesses in your area or in your state, historical photo comparisons, old and new, oral history and interviews. People do entire channels on this, and you could too, depending upon your interest. You got to realize something. If none of these interest you, don't start them. Don't just say, hey, that sounds cool. I'm going to start that. You'll last 2-3 weeks, and then you get disinterested in it. So if something sounds really cool now, it might not be in a month. So think about it in that regard. But if you really have a passion, one of these really hits home for you, that's pretty cool. That's something you could run with, but you have to really love it to begin with. And that's kind of the point. Taking something you love, start now, share what you know, your passion, what you really know, and help others. That's the point. The history your textbooks skipped. Industry and agricultural history, local architecture and build history, walking tour videos. Wherever you go, do a walking tour. Document and archive walkthroughs. Then there's backyard birding and wildlife. My father, who's 91, father-in-law, who's 91, he can look out his window across his driveway to a bird feeder. And who's in the bird feeder or trying to get in the bird feeder? Squirrels. So what does he have? An air gun. Just enough to scare him off. And that sounds like fun to me. I don't know if you could make a YouTube channel out of shooting squirrels with air guns. But hey, let's go through these, shall we? Bird feeder setup and bird feeding, bird identification by region, attracting specific species of birds. And, that would be a documenting thing where I'm doing this. Let's see if it works. It didn't work. Let's try this. It can be an ongoing thing. People will watch these. Seasonal bird activity, beginner birding, bird photography basics. There you go. Wildlife beyond birds. Maybe instead of the birds, you're documenting the squirrels. Maybe you set up a bunch of bird feeders with a specific purpose of attracting squirrels and then trying to keep them from getting to sorry, that just sounds fun to me. Wildlife beyond the birds. Bird feeder cameras and real-time wildlife. You can, there's a live feed of a camera watching an eagle's nest somewhere in America, and you can tune in and watch live 24 hours a day on YouTube. Live eagle webcam. Wow. Teaching your career expertise. Now, this is where I think we get into some stuff, because you spent decades doing something, and now you're retired or getting ready to retire, and you still have stuff to share. Here you are right here. Teaching, nursing, and healthcare. My wife is a double board certified FNP. She's actually creating a business, not a YouTube channel, but a business for semi-retirement that's going to make her a lot of money. I'm just saying. But teaching, nursing, and healthcare. Teaching accounting and finance. Younger people would probably tune into that. Teaching education and classroom skills. Teaching skilled trades professionally. In other words, anything that you're doing that you've learned over the decades, you could teach if you still care enough about it to teach it, to do it and to teach it. Teaching law enforcement and public safety. That'd probably be a big deal today. The mistakes I made so you don't have to. Kind of broad, but we could all fill up a YouTube channel on those things. What nobody tells you about this career. Whatever career you've got, you could tell them all the stuff that nobody knows that you want to break open on. Career wisdom for the next generation. Industry-specific Q&A. You could do live streams saying, hey, come ask me stuff. Love to answer your question. And 10, career transition guidance. People go through 4 to 5 careers in a lifetime now. 4 to 5 to 6 different careers in a lifetime. I know I've gone through at least 4. One of them was 23 years long. So that was pretty much a career. Man, have I gone long. Anyway, golf for beginners, senior golf and playing with an aging body. Your swing is going to change. Short game and putting. I have a friend who put an actual putting green in his backyard so he could practice pitching and putting. golf mental game and course management, golf course reviews and travels, walking golf and the 9-hole game, golf fitness for seniors, golf equipment and reviews. This is a big deal because there's a lot of people like golf. Home practice and simulator golf. And then there's disc golf, an entirely different thing, and yet it's golf. 8 is photography, natural, travel, family, portrait, smartphone photography, black and white photography, composition for beginners, light and golden hour photography. If you know, you know. Photo organization and backup, printing and displaying your photos, photography for beginners over 50. And now we're going to go into a different category altogether. And that's category of faith. So faith is a standalone category. Daily devotional and Bible teaching. You could jump on and do a daily devotional for 5 minutes, make a YouTube video out of it, put it up, and it could be a daily running thing. You're just sharing the knowledge that you have and sharing what God has given you, and you're putting it out there for others to join you and watch you. And there's all kinds of apps for devotionals. And here's the thing, you can take your phone and tune into a channel of somebody doing this and listen to that daily devotional for 5-7 minutes and make it a daily thing as well. It's actually a pretty good idea. Daily devotional Bible teaching, a topical Bible study, a book of the Bible walkthroughs, a channel specifically on prayer, a theology made accessible, faith in retirement, and your second half of your life. What does that look like? Faith through hard seasons. Maybe you've gone through a ton of hard seasons, and you can share how God got you through those. And then you could find some people that have gone through some hard stuff as well and share their stories. That would be a long-standing channel. Marriage and relationship from a faith perspective. Passing faith on to the next generation. I've got stories about me and my granddaughter already. Not enough for a channel yet, but maybe. Personal testimony and faith stories. So there, I went through 230 different topics, different things that you could do, that you could pick one and start a YouTube channel on. We don't lack for topics to make a YouTube channel out of. We don't lack that at all. What we lack is actually saying, I'm going to do it. And then you do it, but you have to stick with it. The key here is you have to pick something for a YouTube channel that you actually absolutely love. You have to love it. If you don't love it, it won't last. So stuff like woodworking, when you're finished with one project, you go on to the next one. And just that one subtopic alone, woodworking, let's just say, yeah, but I got to set up a camera every time. Well, I'll guarantee you by the time you've done the 5th project, you've got setting up a camera down to a minute, 2 minutes tops. You know exactly what to do, how to set it up, where to set it up, and pretty soon it takes nothing at all. And editing will get shorter and shorter and shorter with regard to what you do. So it's just a question of you setting yourself up for that. And so it's all possible. But the thing is, you have to want to do it. And you have to want to love. You have to love doing it and wanting to do it. Because if you don't love it, it won't last. If you don't love making videos and sharing what you know, it won't last. But my thought is real simple. Start now, share what you know, help others. And I hope this has helped you guys. If we haven't met, but you've watched this whole thing waiting for a niche to write down, my name's Bill. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Oh, wait a sec.